A book. I don't know if they'll mention the whole area of the classroom. I'd be interested to see if they do that.
Are you anticipating that some will remember from 4th grade?
Yes, I am. And then there'll be a few students in there that will be a little bit of a mystery whether they'll remember.
Okay. Okay. So tell me a little bit more about what you're going to be doing to get into the actual formula, because at the very beginning of our meeting you mentioned that you wanted to work with them on the formula.
Right. Well, it'll really come back to what they remember first about the area of a rectangle and a square. And then by using the geoboards and the paper, what I'd like to do is guide them, kind of facilitate a way for them to see that the triangle is really half of the rectangle or half of the square. I don't want to tell them. I want them to kind of do the investigation and see if they can come up with it.
Right. I really like what she's starting to think about now. And I hear her say guiding and facilitating, and she just says for herself, I really don't want to tell them. And I know that she and I talk a lot about in her practice, and mine too, is that if you just give a child a formula, what is the math that they're understanding there? And how can it be applied to different circumstances? And I really get the feeling that at this point of the conversation, both of us are very deep in that conference.
Right. You feel, it seems like there's been a shift from kind of a looser idea of what the lesson might be like to now a more focused,
And it does sometimes take a lot of moving the grass around, if you will, to try to get into that piece.
I think that's beneficial to all teachers, not just the new teacher, putting two heads together.
Right, and getting rid of the stuff that you really don't need, getting it out of the way, but sometimes you have to go through that process before you get there. So I know that that's one of the strategies that you usually use with your students, is that you get them to work through inquiry to figure out, oh yeah, that's what I understand.
Right here, this is the second time I'm hearing you say that you know something that Kristen does. With each subsequent conference, you're building upon, prior knowledge about Kristen.
Correct. Well, it's our relationship over the years that, or not that many years, but it's our relationship in things that I know that she's cognizant of in her lessons. And I think that she tries very hard to make sure that she does things that are going to really connect kids to their learning. And because I've had this experience with her, it's easy for me to notice, and I want to see it. When I'm thinking about teaching kids area, I know a lot of times they get confused and they need a little bit more review maybe about perimeter, and so as not to get the whole thing about the dimensions.
Right, because some of them do confuse area and perimeter.